So this is going to be step 6 and in the pattern instructions, and you're going to be sewing up the inseam. And let's see, so the words say pin front to back at inner leg seams matching notches and small dots. Stitch seam stretching back to fit. So between this dot and this notch, you might have to stretch one side more than the other. And that's considered ease, and it's a very lovely but subtle sewing skill, which basically accommodates the back of your thigh and your butt being bigger than the front. So don't be alarmed if the front and the back don't fit perfectly, because you'll be stretching one side. So we're going to fold this in half now, and we're going to sew up the inseam. From the bottom of the pajama pants all the way up into the crotch. So we have the dot at the crotch, we have the notch, and then we have the bottom of the hem. So I would say if you have 3 pins, that's fine. I would like to suggest that you line up the bottom of the hem first and foremost. Because no one's going to be looking at the crotch seam allowance, but everybody's going to be looking at the bottom of your hem. So that is the most important to have lined up. And then the next item is to have this notch lined up here. So looks like I'm shifting this down a bit. So I have this. Let's be a little bit of ease. And then the top. Again, like I wouldn't sweat this too much. This is the inside of your leg. So this is the only part people are going to notice. So you can pin this up, and if it doesn't line up 1000% accurately, it's not the end of the world. So this is the seam that we're going to stitch. And again, I suggest starting at the bottom because you want to just make sure that that's accurate. So we have our 5/8 of an inch here. So what I'm actually going to do is do a little overcast stitch around the bottom of the hem, just so that that is absolutely anchored down. So I've stitched that just around the edge 2 or 3 times, and now I can start sewing this up. And I'm hoping that's at 5/8 of an inch. It's a good guesstimate. Yep, that's it. So I'm sewing from here all the way up to the end of the fabric. If one side of the fabric is larger than the other side, like this is smaller than this, you see this bubble that's been created, I would just say remove this pin, don't sweat it. You just want to make sure that it's even from here to here. So there, you'll be stretching one side more than the other. But it's not the end of the world if that notch isn't 100% marked up with a notch on the back. It's more important that the seam lays smoothly. And if you're not 100% accurate in cutting out your pattern pieces, then that notch may have shifted someplace during the cutting process. So it's better for the seams to be flat and smooth, and it's better for the bottom of your pants hem to be lined up, and then everything else kind of comes in third place, because nobody cares about what the inside of the crotch of your pajamas looks like. So I'm going to finish this up and do the other leg as well. Now another nice technique to use is to press the inseam open as well. It's not in the instructions and it's not 100% necessary, but for the bottom of your hem right down here, you see how it's kind of just sticking up? It would be nice to have that pressed nice and flat. And also the top of the crotch where you're going to be sewing the front, the left side to the right side, it would be nice to have your inseam pressed flat there too. So for the, you can always finger press it using steam, or you can iron it. So for one half of the pant leg where I'm ironing everything, I will press this open. And the other trick is to place the seam in the middle so that you don't iron the fold here, because then you'll get a wrinkle. So you're just going to press it right here, like that. And I would just say press it halfway, because the inseam is slightly curved. So you don't want to press the whole thing in one flat line because it'll bubble. Remember how complicated it had been to press curved seams in class. So at the top of the crotch right up here, it's nice and flat, and then down here at the bottom, it's nice and flat also. So here's our leg. We turn it right side out. And we have to make sure that the pocket is facing front. So if you want, you can actually just put a little pin here or a safety pin, just so that you remember your next step, that the pocket is going to be on the inside. So here's my one leg with the pocket pinned, and then here's my other leg. And I haven't pinned the pocket, so I just want to confirm. This is the front, and I'm just going to put a little pin here, just as a reminder, because you just don't want to have that pocket facing the back. So we have our left and our right legs here.